You know, me and Kirk have been in this child support court situation for over a year now.
Right.
The first time I went through it, I kind of let it go because I let him convince me to.
Yeah.
And this time around, I'm not budging. He gives me $1,000 a month.
What? That's crazy.
$1,000 a month. I don't understand it. Like, how?
And he's still battling me, saying, what 8-year-old needs $1,000? I thought we finally settled on the money amount a few months back at the Cyphers of the A concert.
So the amount of money that I sent you, that's the number you cool with, right?
Yes.
So we can end this lawyer.
Period. But typical Kirk backed out on our agreement of the amount that he was supposed to give me. So I had to take Kirk to court to get a reasonable amount of child support because $1,000 a month just isn't doing it. We had our preliminary trial, and Kirk is now trying to countersue for full custody.
Full custody?
Stop it.
I can count on my hand in the last year how many times he's seen Cannon.
I don't know where the delusion lies because he really thinks that he goes above and beyond. You just started getting Cannon that one weekend a month.
Cannon's with me 10 times more than he's ever.
Right.
Exactly.
This delusion is just going above and beyond. Cannon calls that man Yaya. He don't even call him
Daddy.
He calls me dad because he wants so bad to identify with a father figure.
Yeah.
And it's not making sense to him because I don't even see you, man. So, like, custody is nuts.
The fact that Kirk is going for full custody is up to me. Cannon doesn't even know how he fits into your family, into your life as it is. In my heart, I feel like it's just another tactic that he's pulling
Most definitely.
to get away from paying me whatever he's supposed to pay me, or maybe he's trying to scare me into settling. But that man does not want full custody because he was offered 2 weekends a month and didn't even want that.
He's mad because you called him out.
Kirk is doing this because he's mad and he doesn't want to pay child support. But now he's not the only one that's mad. Now I'm mad. What he's doing by countersuing me for full custody is up. If he thought I was calling him names before, oh, you just wait, baby. I just feel like I'm at my wit's end.
There better be some kind of civilized solution.
I tried. I done chased Rashida around at one point. Now I'm not chasing Rashida around. Now her friends want me to chase her around. And did that. Backfired. Rashida don't want to talk to me. Like, I'm done.
So I don't want you to give up on it. I know the court might be the final say so, but at the end of the day, y'all gonna have to work this out. I just want for Cannon to have a good relationship with his father. I want for y'all to have a good relationship because at the end of the day, Cannon deserves that. At this point, they need an olive branch. They need something.
I'll never.
Wow.
The sky was painted with hues of gold and lavender as the sun began its slow descent behind the horizon. But inside Rod Bullock's home, the atmosphere was anything but peaceful. Jasmine stood frozen in the living room, her heart hammering in her chest as the weight of Rod's words settled over her like a suffocating blanket.
Life is rough out here, bro. Life is rough.
I'm glad you came, bro.
Definitely appreciate you, doing the stuff you do. Ken has been around you since you've been born. I'm sure you're aware of all the issues.
It's been rough on everybody, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I wanted to sit down with you and have a real conversation, father to father. Because she mentions to me this whole custody thing, and now Kirk wants full custody, and of course I lost it when I first heard it. Like, what are you, come on, that's crazy.
First of all, we're in court, not for me, we're in court because of her. I'm not saying she's a bad parent, because she's not. I do think she has to go through a lot in order to maintain that one little boy and do things as a mother.
I mean, is this dude really trying to come at Jazz? It's a little ironic coming from a man who does the bare minimum. I mean, your own son doesn't identify you as his dad. For the past 8 years, it's kind of just been hurt. You know what I'm saying? Now, we've all contributed. I'm just saying, nobody's in her situation.
Is it about money or is it about me taking care of my child? I'm almost 204,000 or 5,000 in on this kid, right? What she says is I don't do enough, but I've always taken care of Cannon. I've always paid all my child support. I've always paid anything you need. Your car broke, you need $4,300, here you go. I need to pay for a rented car, here you go.
Yeah, she totally tells me it's bare minimum.
Just in my Cash App alone.
I get that you're paying,
That's just in Cash App. You can read what they're for. You can read the dates. You can read down to birthday money. You can scroll as long as you want. Again, I did not bring us here in front of the court. So this is her doing.
I came here today to defend you, Jasmine. And the whole time, you've been lying to me. I look like a idiot. I mean, I still want to try to find some middle ground between her and Kirk, but I'm not happy about this right now. I don't know the intricate details. I'm not privy to those conversations. I just don't understand, like, why it's full custody all of a sudden.
No matter what, when we look back, this is my child. And I don't want my child to question me on, Dad, why didn't you make sure I was good in life? My focus is Cannon, his future, schooling, living, and life. That's it. And I respect Rod for trying to help mediate, but it's not gonna all be fixed in one night. Let's continue to build, man. You know what I'm saying? I think we'll get there, you know?
Yeah.
All right? Appreciate you taking your time out, all right?
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this, Jasmine. You need to leave. Rod's voice was sharp, devoid of the affection it once held. The room seemed to close in on her, her world crashing down around her in an instant. She had heard those words before, but never with such finality. Jasmine's eyes welled up, her mind racing to find some way to undo the damage, some way to make things right. But Rod wasn't looking at her with pity or anger. He was just done. He looked away, avoiding her gaze as if to reinforce that there was no room for negotiation this time. Rod, please don't do this. I have nowhere else to go. Jasmine's voice was barely a whisper, choked by the lump in her throat. Rod stood there for a long moment, arms crossed, his posture rigid. He had tried, God knows he had tried, but she always came back to the same mistakes, the same patterns that drained the life out of their relationship. He had given her chance after chance, and now it had reached a breaking point. "You don't get it, Jasmine," he said, his voice colder than it had ever been. "You've had your shot, but I'm not going to keep sacrificing everything for you. Not anymore. I've got my own life to live." The words stung. They cut deeper than any physical wound could. Jasmine had no idea how long she stood there, rooted in place, her mind swirling in confusion and despair. She had come here hoping to find comfort, to rekindle the love they once had, but instead, she was being thrown out like a stranger. "Rod, I don't want to hear it," he interrupted, his voice flat. "Go." Jasmine felt a surge of anger rise within her, but it quickly dissipated into a hollow sense of defeat. What was the point of fighting? She had already lost. Slowly, she turned and walked towards the door, each step heavy, as if the weight of her entire life was pressing down on her. When she stepped outside, the cool evening air hit her like a slap in the face. The street was quiet, eerily still, as if the world itself had frozen in time. Her breath caught in her throat as she looked back at the house, the place that had once felt like home, now a distant memory. The sense of abandonment gnawed at her insides. She fumbled with her phone, her hands trembling before dialing the number she never thought she would call again. The phone rang, and with each passing second, the knot in her stomach tightened. Finally, the voice on the other end answered, a familiar, deep tone. "Jasmine?" It was Kirk Frost. Her heart fluttered at the sound of his voice, and for a moment she hesitated. She had always kept a safe distance from him, knowing how complicated their history was. They had shared moments of passion and pain, and although they had drifted apart over time, there was still a bond between them, a connection she couldn't deny. But this wasn't about feelings. This was about survival. "Kirk," she said, her voice faltering, "I need your help. Rod kicked me out. I don't know what to do. I've nowhere to go. Can you help me? I need money. I need a place to stay." There was a long pause on the other end. Jasmine could almost hear him weighing her words, deciding whether or not to take the bait. She knew he would be skeptical. After everything that had happened between them, it was hard for anyone to trust her, especially him. Finally, Kirk spoke, his tone cautious but not unkind. "You're asking me for money?" "I have no choice," she whispered, feeling the vulnerability seep into her voice. "Please, just this once." Another long pause. She could hear the sound of his breath on the other end, as though he were trying to make sense of what she had just said. Jasmine fought back tears as she waited for his response. The humiliation of asking for help, of being so desperate, weighed on her, but she had no pride left. She just needed a lifeline. "All right," he said, his voice softening. "I'll help you, but you need to get it together, Jasmine. This can't be a permanent solution. You need to start making better choices." Jasmine nodded, even though he couldn't see her. "I know. I will. I promise." She could hear the skepticism in his voice, but she didn't care. Right now, all that mattered was that Kirk had agreed to help her. She didn't know where else to turn, and despite everything, Kirk was still someone she could rely on. She arrived at Kirk's place later that evening, the city lights shimmering against the night sky as she walked to his door. She didn't know what to expect when he opened it, but when he did, his expression was unreadable. There was no warmth, no anger, just an empty sort of neutrality. Without a word, he stepped aside to let her in. Jasmine could feel the weight of the silence between them as she walked past him into the apartment, the familiar scent of his cologne hitting her. It felt like a lifetime ago that she had been here, comfortable in his space, but now everything felt different. Cold, detached. Kirk led her to the couch and sat down across from her, his eyes studying her as though trying to figure out what had brought her to this point. "You're in a bad spot, Jasmine," he said quietly, "but I'm not going to fix this for you. You have to start fixing things for yourself." "I know," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I just don't know where to start." Kirk didn't say anything for a moment, his gaze intense. Then, without a word, he stood up and walked into another room, returning with an envelope. He handed it to her without ceremony. "Here. It's not a lot, but it'll help for now. Just remember, this is a loan. Don't make me regret it.